The story of Frank DeCicco's life is like a high-stakes crime movie. DeCicco was not your average gangster. He went by the names Frankie D and Frankie Cheech, among others. With a rough childhood in Brooklyn and family ties to the notorious Gambino crime family, it seemed like he was meant to live a life of crime. But what made Frank DeCicco one of the most powerful people in the Gambino family? Let's talk about what happened to him. First of all, the early years of Frank DeCicco's life were a story of fate and the criminal underground. Since he was born into a family with strong ties to the notorious Gambino crime family, he was always going to be a key player in the rough world of organized crime. Vincent "Boozy" DeCicco, his father, was a drunk soldier in the Gambino crime family. This made it possible for Frank to join the dark world. Frank grew up in a rough part of Brooklyn called Bath Beach. Many of his cousins were already involved in crime when he was young. George DeCicco, his brother, was also a soldier in the Gambino family, and George DeCicco, his uncle, was the most powerful capo in the organization. From a young age, it was clear that Frank DeCicco was headed down a dangerous and illegal road. As Frank DeCicco became an adult, he was drawn to the charm of mob life. He couldn't resist the pull of power, money, and respect in the Gambino family, so he chose a life where loyalty to the family was most important. In the late 1960s, DeCicco became an official soldier in the group. This showed the higher-ups how valuable he was and set the stage for his eventual rise through the ranks. The more time went by, the more ties and power DeCicco had within the Gambino family. He made friends with important people like the boss of the family, Paul Castellano, who took a special interest in preparing Frank for bigger jobs. Castellano and other powerful mob figures gave him their trust, which helped him quickly rise to power. As a guard for the Gambino family, DeCicco knew how to get around in the dangerous world of organized crime. His street smarts, ability to plan, and unshakable loyalty made him known as a force to be reckoned with among his peers. No one knew that this young man from Brooklyn would become an important underboss who would shape the future of the dreaded Gambino crime family. Chapter: The Underboss Who Does the Math. Frank DeCicco was a very smart thief. He was good at running a wide range of businesses, each one more profitable than the last. His ability to plan and strong ties to the Gambino family helped him rise to the top of the criminal underground, where he became an unstoppable force. Labor racketeering was one of the most valuable things DeCicco did. Because he was related to the Gambino family, he was able to get a highly sought-after, no-show union job with the International Brotherhood of Teamsters Union Local 282. This seemingly harmless job gave him a lot of power over construction-related scams. He was able to make a lot of money while having a low profile. DeCicco's ability to control the construction business made him a dangerous man who made people afraid of and respect him. But DeCicco didn't stop there. He wanted more and more success. He did well in the world of illegal gaming, where a roll of the dice could make or break a fortune. As he went to illegal gaming spots all over Brooklyn and Manhattan, the streets became his playground. He left a path of chaos in his wake. He even had his social club in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, which he used as a cover for his high-risk activities. DeCicco was a good gambler, and his image in the mob grew as he played craps and roulette without fear, trying his luck while navigating the dangerous waters of organized crime. DeCicco's rise to power was helped by the fact that he was friends with the powerful Gambino boss, Paul Castellano. Castellano was from the same part of Bath Beach as DeCicco. He took DeCicco's eager underboss under his wing when he saw that DeCicco could be made a big deal in the family. Castellano's guidance made DeCicco's instincts even sharper, making him a smart and careful gangster. With the help of a strong team that included Joseph the German Watts and Joseph Old Man Peruta, John Gotti's loyal bodyguard, DeCicco's power in the Gambino crime family hit new heights. The smart underboss's rise to power was nothing short of amazing. DeCicco was a force to be reckoned with because he was a brilliant planner who always stood by his family. But the attractive world of organized crime is also dangerous, and as DeCicco's power grew, so did the problems he had to deal with. Chapter: The Bloodstained Trails. As Frank DeCicco's power and influence in the Gambino crime family hit their peak, violence and betrayal followed in his wake. Orders to kill rival gangsters became a scary reality, changing the way the New York underworld worked and cementing DeCicco's image as a cruel mobster. Nicholas Sabetta, a member of the Gambino crime family, was brutally killed in one of these cases. Castellano, the head of the Gambino family, is said to have called for Scabetta's death because he was violent and and had insulted Frank's uncle George DeCicco's daughter, and the crime family was in danger of falling apart. Frank DeCicco's smart move stopped a full-scale war from happening. He was able to bring Gravano down and persuade him that Sabetta's death was just a punishment for what he had done. In the dangerous world of organized crime, DeCicco's diplomatic skills showed how good of a tactician he was by the way he handled trust and betrayal. But the web of violence kept getting bigger, drawing DeCicco into a darker plan. In 1983, Castellano asked him again to set up the killing of the well-known mobster Roy DeMeo. DeMeo was in charge of a scary group that was responsible for a lot of murders. The dark things they did were covered up by pretending to run a legal business. Castellano ordered DeMeo to be killed because he was afraid he might work for the government and put the whole Gambino family in danger. Because DeMeo had a scary image, it was hard to find people who would kill him. But DeCicco, who was always smart and clever, looked for the men who would do the dangerous job among DeMeo's crew. He found two loyal members of DeMeo's team, Anthony Center and Joseph Testa, who were willing to carry out the brutal killing. Their actions would make DeCicco's power and loyalty in the family even stronger, making him a very dangerous person to mess with. But as the bloody trails of violence got longer, so did the divisions within the Gambino family. Many traditional members were upset by Castellano's focus on white-collar crime and what they saw as his cheapness, which made them unhappy with his leadership. It was a time bomb ready to go off, and when Castellano made Thomas Bilotti his chauffeur and underboss, John Gotti saw an opening to take over. Power battles and plans to kill were every day in the murky world of organized crime. Late in 1985, a bad plan came together that would change the Gambino crime family's life for good. In a brutal attempt to take control, John Gotti and his close friend Frank DeCicco planned to kill the boss at the time, Paul Castellano, and his right-hand man, Thomas Bilotti. Even though he was friends with Castellano, DeCicco joined the murder plot with Gotti and other important people. The meeting was planned for December 16, 1985, at Sparks Steakhouse in Midtown Manhattan. DeCicco told Gotti about the meeting because he wanted to be successful and was loyal to him. This made sure that the hit worked. Now that Castellano and Bilotti were out of the picture, Gotti named himself the new boss of the Gambino family, with DeCicco as his trusted underboss. The balance of power changed, and the determined pair saw a bright future ahead of them. But in the chaotic world of organized crime, these places of power always came with a high price tag. When a bomb went off in Dyker Heights, Brooklyn on April 13, 1986, it was a bad day. Frank DeCicco's 1985 Buick Park Avenue was the target, but because Gotti changed his mind at the last minute, he was saved from the deadly blast. The bombing was done by members of the enemy Lucchese family, who were told to do it by Vincent Giganti and Anthony Corallo, the head of the Lucchese family. To get back at Gotti and the Gambino family for the brave way they killed Castellano and Bilotti, they wanted to send a chilling message. Unluckily, DeCicco was the one who paid the final price, because a soldier who was with him by mistake died in the explosion. Frank DeCicco's sad death was a grim warning of how cruel and unforgiving the mob world is. Loyalties changed like waves, and betrayal was always close by. As the dust settled, John Gotti's rule would be hampered by new problems and betrayals, and the Gambino family's power battle would go on as usual. That's for the video, but we'll be back soon with more. In the meantime, please give this one a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel.